Does the fish know that it is wet? And I'm guessing the obvious answer to this question is no. Not unless its eyes were open and not unless it was caused to see otherwise. Do you know that bravery is inside of you? There's courage and there's strength on the inside of you. You see, this life and in this life, to achieve anything, we need to be brave. And if we are not courageous to just take bold steps and to just live our lives, not in our comfort zones, but on the edge, not just on the edge, but jumping from edge to edge and from place to place, then we would achieve and attain. And if we don't do these things, then we are just going to be cooped up, then we are just going to be held captive and at bay to what life throws at us. Just be brave. Just be brave. You'll see how far it gets you. Just be brave. Be brave enough to stand and face those giants in your life. Life is about risk. And to succeed, we have to take risk. But to take risk, you and I, we have to be brave. Let's just face it. There's just no easier way or back door. Because bravery is not saying there wouldn't be dangers or failures. It's being able to stand tall, confident and strong, even in the midst of dangers or failures, and continue through it all. The sooner we wrap our heads around this, the easier it would be to move forward and elevate. Because bravery would not deceive into thinking otherwise, but it emboldens us to pursue or jump despite it all. There are many of us sitting and watching carelessly, idly, helplessly, and hopelessly as life progresses. We sit on our competencies, our abilities, our dreams, our gifts, our visions, and our purpose. But you know what? If we aren't brave, we just would not attain. You see, bravery dictates and bravery necessitates us to just take that bold leap of faith, which can be the turnaround we've all been waiting for. No, you and I, we don't need more time, we don't need more practice, we don't need more energy, skills, or even dexterity. We've been 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, countless years upon years into practice and with our skills and talents, yet we are asking for more time. No, what we need is some courage and bravery to just take that bold step despite who we see around or what we see around. Be brave enough to stand and face those giants in your life. Be brave enough to face your apprehensions of the unknown and jump. Be brave enough to tear those walls down and to build fresh foundation. Those walls, those mindset that have us in the places that we are in, we have to be brave enough to just tear those walls down and build fresh foundation. Those mindset that says we can't do it or we can't achieve it or success is not for us. We need to be brave enough to face those and to apprehend our own selves, look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got this, we're going to do it. This life is not the life in which we had imagined, and this life is not our best life, and this life is not the life in which we have been called to live. Be brave enough to face new frontiers. I wish I could have said anything else, but if we aren't brave to still stand and run with our visions and giftings, then we'll never achieve anything in this life. Because this life is tough. It can bully us, and it will bully us, and will knock us over and punch us in the face repeatedly until we throw in the towel and just forfeit that fight. But I'll guarantee that this final thing, that if we are just brave enough to still get up and fight daily, we would eventually win. You see, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Walt Disney, Colonel Sanders, Michael Jordan, you name them, and they all had one thing in common. They were brave enough to still persist and to pursue even after failures, heartaches, and setbacks. Hey, you and I, we have something great, valuable, meaningful, and purposeful to offer. But we must not sit around and wait or sit around and listen to those dream killers or bullies. We must just be brave, jump, and see what happens. Do you know how many businesses are unopened because competent and able people weren't brave enough? Do you know how many are going to live and die without the world knowing they were here unless by a name on a tombstone? It happens because they were not brave enough, or by reason of allowing apprehensions or fears to just take rule as they drift idly along. You're supposed to be a lion. The lion in you ain't built to retreat. It's built to stand and be brave despite it all. Don't ever let anyone convince you to be a coward or that you cannot do it. Yes, you can. You don't need anyone else's approval. You just need to be brave. Be brave enough to break those curses and leave a legacy. Be brave enough to stand and to be different in a life where everyone seems to conform to the life of mediocrity and passivity. Now show me the heart of a lion, and don't be afraid to take the next step, as everything gets easier after the first step of faith. Your dreams and pursuits wouldn't slow down and say, here I am, I'm waiting for you. No, they're going to say, catch me if you can. Are you brave enough to still chase after them and run with them day by day, despite you might fail, despite you would fail, despite you might and will fall? Would you? You see, courage does not always roar. Sometimes it is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, we'll try again tomorrow. Are you trying again tomorrow? Are you giving it your all? Are you still falling 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, but getting up one more time? That's what it takes to achieve and to succeed in this life. It's called courage, or it's called bravery. And without courage or bravery to still face it, to still face those fears, to suck up those failures and still go repeatedly, to still throw punches even after you've been battered, bruised, beaten and wounded. See, if we don't have the tenacity to go, then we cannot and would not achieve anything, because this life is not going to play us any fair ball game. It's not going to play us easy. It's not going to slow down for us or just, give us slower punches, but it's going to give us everything it's got, and we've got to give it every single thing. Just be brave.